Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy Brizzy here, bringing you a different video. This is a video I've been meaning to do for a while, but I wanted to wait until I'd actually owned a few knives so that the video wasn't just like 3 seconds. So this is a video of all the knives that I've owned, from the first one to the one I have now, in more or less order. I think halfway through one or two knives might be in the wrong place, but this is the general order I've had these knives. I've gained the first knife through buying it. I bought this out from the Steam market. This is before I knew OP skins, before anyone says anything. And then I pretty much just like, whenever I wanted a new knife, rather than forking out on an actual new knife, I'd buy a skin, like an AK skin that I'd want, and I'd use that. And I get bored of gun skins and all skins in general pretty quickly, so I'd buy that and I'd use that, and then once I was done with that, I would trade the knife I have plus the skin and then do an upgrade so that I end up with a better knife. So that's how I've got from my first Falchion Urban Mask Battle Scarred to the knife I have now, which brings me to another point. In this WS paint lobby, as far as I know, you couldn't change the wear of the weapon. The wear would always be factory new when you were sewing your skins, because that's how I've made this video. I've gone into one of these B-hop lobbies that lets you change skin. There's probably a much better way of doing it, but I didn't know how, which is why I did it the way I did. So yeah, all the skins will be factory new, but I didn't have them all in factory new. I'll explain. So I'll go on to the first knife now. So this was my Falchion knife. I had this battle scarred. It was a really bad float as well. I don't know how good these things can look when it's the best of battle scarred, but I did like this knife. This is actually the only Falchion knife that I've had since like I've had knives. I don't know why, I just found this knife really hard to trade, so I never went back to Falchions. Then I had this gut knife vanilla. Till this day, it is still one of my favorite knives. I would definitely get it again. Then I had this gut knife blue steel. This was battle scarred as well, but with blue steel, I don't know how battle scarred works. I know it can have green on it or whatever, but and it gets darker, but they more or less, to me, all look the same. So that was my phone going off, but yeah, then again, I had the Huntsman knife, field tested. It wasn't this clean. It was pretty clean though for a field tested knife. I like this knife as well, but it's pretty much a similar animation to the gut knife. Then I had this flip knife. I remember this knife well because it was named Dia de los Muertos and it was factory new. It actually was. Then I had Shadow Daggers Scorched. I used to not like these knives, but then one guy just gave me a trade offer and I thought, you know what, I'll just take them, and I got them back because they are really good knives, I think. Then I got my butterfly knife, which was the knife that I'd always wanted since I got the first knife, but I didn't want to spend that much money. So yeah, this is one of my favorites as well. Then we have my gut knife Damascus Steel. I definitely did not go back to a gut knife after a butterfly, so I think that's where it went wrong. I think this Damascus Steel was supposed to be before, but I'm not sure where, so I've put it in the video here. Then I had my Karambit Safari Mesh. This was battle scarred, my first Karambit. I had this with my friend Adrian. We both had the exact same knife. It was pretty fun. Then we have the blue steel butterfly. Not much to talk about there. My favorite knife of all time, my flip knife Doppler. It actually looked better than this as well. Like, it had the nicest pink play side ever, obviously, that I can't emulate through this lobby. Then I went back to Karambit, had a stained, another skin that doesn't really change as much or look horrible no matter what the wear. It will cover the full blade, so it looked good. I had that well worn. And then I got Shadow Daggers. Those were battle scarred, but I bought those. I traded them both for this Stat Track Slaughter. Very nice knife. Then I traded that for this Karambit Ultraviolet, which I traded in rage because I went to stab someone and I missed, and it was field tested and it had a really good float. I traded to this. I always wanted a bayonet, hadn't had one yet at all, so I got this case hardened, didn't have a nice float, was Stat Track. Traded that for these, and then traded that or those for this knife that I have now, Karambit Knight, and I'm out.